Hello, my name is Sam Felton, and welcome to Expert Interviews here on Smash the Fat. With me today is hypnotherapist Julie Mann. How you doing, Julie?
I'm really well, thank you, Sam. How are you?
I'm really good, really
Good.
good. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you.
As I alluded to in that introduction, you are, of course, a hypnotherapist
I
with a
am.
website and blog at www.habitfixer.com. And I kind of came across you through one of our coaches in Tunbridge Wells, which is in Kent, which is the south of England for all of our international viewers and listeners. And you have this great hypnotherapy MP3 called You Can Lose Weight. So before we kind of get into the nitty gritty about how hypnotherapy can help for weight loss,
hmm
let's start off with kind of how did you get into this line of work?
Yeah, well, it was about 17, 18 years ago. I was working as my background is as an actress, and I was working doing voiceover work. I was working with a client that I'd worked with often and really enjoyed working with them. It's actually IKEA. And
Hmm.
I was pregnant at the time, and I experienced for the first time ever this kind of hormonal rush. I didn't know that it was a hormonal rush. It was only afterwards, really, years afterwards, that I realised what it was. But at the time, it rendered me speechless, which is not really much good when you're a voiceover artist.
No.
And even though it only lasted probably seconds, it seemed to last forever. And it so frightened me that I thought, I had this fear that, oh my goodness, what if it happens again? So, when something like that happens, if you have that thought over and over again, then it can become a self-fulfilling prophecy, which of course it became. And it meant then that every voiceover I did, I had, at the beginning of it, I had this initial not being able to speak. And I got to the point where I thought I couldn't probably work anymore. So I ended up going to see a hypnotherapist, really, because I was quite desperate. And it was through working with her that I got over this particular panic attack that I used to get. And I thought, God, if this can happen for me, then I'd really like to do this for someone else. So I decided to train to become a hypnotherapist, and then later I became an EFT practitioner. So yeah.
Oh, fantastic,
Yeah.
fantastic. I mean, it's quite often the case that people kind of, with the health and fitness genre in an industry, that they kind of go through their own kind of journey
Yeah.
towards health, and then they end up wanting to help other people. And it seems that you kind of sort of fit into that, and especially with an award-winning MP3 that's helped many people lose weight. I've seen some of the kind of testimonials on your YouTube channel there, so that's absolutely fantastic. So how exactly does hypnotherapy work? Because I'm sure there'll be lots of kind of skeptical people out there and
Yes.
things,
Yes.
but yeah,
I
how
think
does
it's a really great question, Sam, because I think there are
therapy work
people
in
who
terms of
don't know what it is, who are actually a little bit frightened of what it might be.
Mhm.
Some people think that they're going to be out of control, or they're going to be made to do something that they don't want to do, but that's an absolute myth. What happens is that the person who wants to come for hypnosis basically is led by the hypnotherapist with their gently guiding voice into a state where their body and mind are relaxed. And some people relax more than others. So for an onlooker, it might seem that the client is maybe asleep, but actually they're awake and the mind is awake. And so the hypnotherapist is really talking to that part of the mind that is receptive to change. So it's all about promoting beneficial change. So it may be that the person experienced the hypnosis just feels relaxed, and maybe they're picturing, as in a daydream, the kind of things that the hypnotherapist is talking about. And of course, they may then experience the associated pleasant feelings.
Absolutely, and then they kind of develop from there in terms of their thinking about food and
Yeah,
things like that.
because the thing about food is, of course, unlike any other kind of um, behavioral pattern, if someone, say, has a cocaine addiction, they can actually stop mixing in the circles. the people that take it, but actually food is everywhere, and everyone really knows how to lose weight, don't they? You know, you just
to a certain extent,
take
for sure.
in less. Well, you know, I mean, in simple form, you know, it's about taking in less calories than you burn off, isn't it, if you want to lose weight? So most of us know, you know, what foods are good for us and what's not. We know that exercise is good for us, but it's what's in the way of having that happen, you know, and that is the limiting beliefs that we've stored. So our subconscious mind not only has obviously our memories, but it also stores our limiting beliefs, and that's what gets in the way of people losing weight.
Yeah, they're limiting beliefs. And what are the kind of the most common limiting beliefs that you kind of
the
see?
most common I come across is I'm not good enough. But we've all got hundreds of limiting beliefs, and mostly we're not conscious of them. So it's about becoming conscious of them. So, and the thing is that the subconscious makes up about 95% of the brain. So it, believe you me, is in charge. So if you don't work with it, it will sabotage you, which is why diets just do not work. You know, so it's about really dealing with those limiting beliefs. Absolutely.
And you kind of deal with that in the MP3, is that right?
Yes, I mean, it's a very kind of gentle journey, and it talks about, you know, the benefits of eating appropriately and drinking, you know, appropriately. And it's not about depriving yourself of anything, because I think that when you ever deprive yourself of something, then at some point your body goes, no, I'm having it, and it will sabotage those plans. So I think it's about a long-term plan, really.
Yeah.
You know? It's about looking after yourself. I think it was Oprah Winfrey that said, I don't have a weight issue, I have a self-care issue. And deep down, it's about caring for yourself.
Absolutely. And sometimes kind of people fall into the trap about looking after everybody else before themselves.
Absolutely.
Which is something that I sort of commonly see in kind of my practice, and it kind of takes someone maybe externally and somebody that maybe doesn't know them quite as well to sort of see the situation and say, look, you should start looking after number one a bit more.
Absolutely, because if you're not looking after yourself, actually in the end you're no good to anyone else anyway. You know, you deplete your own reserves. It's really important to look after yourself. I think that most of us have been brought up to think that it's selfish to take care of ourselves, to really love ourselves on a basic level. Eat nourishing food.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
actually,
go on, Jill.
I was going to say literally something like thinking fat thoughts will have you keep weight on or be unable to lose it. So it's all about focusing on the thing that you want. So if you want to feel, slim and vital, you need to focus on that. So it's really about what you focus on. What you focus on is what you get.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And do you think that there's certain people that this works for better than others?
I think that there are some people that are more committed to staying the way they are. Sometimes when we lose weight, if we mix with other people who like to eat, and we normally all eat together and we overeat, then those people don't like it. And so sometimes it's easier for people not to rock the boat and stay slim, or maybe in a partnership, perhaps if you lose weight, then the partner may feel threatened. There are all sorts of reasons. Some people want to keep the weight on because they've had a bad experience when they were slim, and they associate being slim with that bad experience, so they're afraid that if they ever lose the weight, they will have a bad experience. So there are all sorts of reasons why people do or don't do what they do. But it's about the commitment. Hypnosis won't work unless you're committed to something. But I think that's the same with anything.
Oh yeah, undoubtedly.
Yeah.
And you don't just help people sort of online, sort of through your blog and MP3s and things like that. You also have a practice.
I do.
Kind of face to face.
I do. So I see people for EFT. So my people buy my downloads, and I see people for EFT. And actually, EFT and hypnosis is a great combination.
Yeah. Absolutely. If you kind of use them in unison,
yes,
then it's a bit more of a powerful tool. Now, those that don't know what EFT, you have actually had another EFT practitioner on before, Carrie Mann. No relation to yourself.
Yeah, she was really great, yeah. You've frozen on screen, Sam. Sorry, I didn't hear that.
Oh, sorry. There you go. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you, yeah.
That's all right. Can you hear me now?
I can,
Really?
yes. Yeah.
Hello. Yeah, there
Oh,
we
hear
go.
me.
Perfect, perfect. Technology,
Technology,
you gotta
yeah.
love it. But yeah, as I was saying, Carrie, we did kind of an EFT session with her. But kind of what exactly is EFT for those that haven't heard of it before?
EFT stands for Emotional Freedom Technique. It's like acupuncture, but you don't use needles, which is great for people who hate needles. So it involves tapping on specific meridian points. Now, the great thing about EFT is you don't have to have any belief. You can think it's a load of old rubbish, and it can still work. So, and actually, remarkably enough, you don't have to tap points. You can just picture it in your mind's eye that you're tapping a point, and it can still work. So it involves the physical tapping, and the vibration goes through the meridian, and also it involves language as well. So it's very much about feeding back to people, what's coming up for them. So it's working with what's happening for them. So it's about turning the negative into the positive.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Yeah.
it's kind of the way that I approach trying to solve problems is trying to kind of embrace the negativity and positively move
Absolutely.
forward is what I try to do, because it's important to kind of have the negative things in life to happen, because if it was all kind of sunshine and rainbows, then that's all you'd ever know, and like if something bad did happen, you wouldn't be ready for it and things like that. So life is never as sweet without the sour, as they say.
I think it's really, really important because, like you say, we are both sweet and sour. So we need to embrace all of ourselves. And the minute that you say you don't like a part of yourself, that's when things start to go wrong. So it's about, even though you might not like that part of yourself that you feel is negative, it actually is part of you, and it's often based on old beliefs from the past that have held you back, often childhood beliefs. So it's about embracing that inner child. It's about maybe imagining you're taking that part of you by the hand and saying, I know you think you can't do it, but you know what, we can.
Yeah, absolutely. And kind of having that encouragement in life, especially as we become adults, because one thing that I've kind of seen, because I don't know if you know, I used to be a snowboard instructor. Right? For about 4 years in New Zealand, America, Switzerland, and all sorts. And that was kind of like during my mid-20s. It's quite fascinating, actually, because I was a snowboard instructor. I was a bit of a die-hard go-getting kind of guy. I'm still a go-getting kind of guy, not maybe quite as die-hard as I was. But my point is that I used to be able to kind of jump off of all sorts of things and sort of, be carefree and things like that. But as we grow older, we kind of build up fear inside ourselves, even though we build up this more confident persona, but we actually almost have more fear in us than when we were younger. But we have more confidence. So there's kind of two conflicting ideas there. So what do you think about that?
Well, I think that actually, by the time we're a few years old, we've been told, no, we can't have that, no, 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 so many times that it's really not surprising that we think that we can't do something. So when you hear that, over and over again, then we develop a belief that says, no, I can't do that, so I won't even bother trying. So we develop a strategy often that so that we can avoid the very thing that we don't like. So
and procrastinate till the cows come home.
Yeah. So the thing about the mind is it's like a computer, Sam. So it likes to churn out the same old thing. So when you put in some software, you put it in, you always get the same result, don't you?
That's
and that's the same with the brain.
Computer does whatever it's told.
Exactly. Computer says no. So you're going to get that over and over again. So the thing to do is to get new software, and that's really what as a hypnotherapist working with, is to install something else. But it's something that the client is obviously choosing to take on.
Yeah, absolutely. So you're trying to sort of almost reinstall the kind of foundational software that's in someone's mind that's kind of creating these limiting beliefs and maybe stopping them from achieving what they truly want to achieve and what they desire, but they just maybe can't quite get there.
Well, I don't actually think they'll go all together. You know,
No.
sometimes they'll resurface, but it's about,
Yeah.
it's when you become conscious of it, and then you can choose.
Yeah.
Do
There's
I
still
really?
bugs in there, isn't there?
Absolutely, and that, you know, we're just human beings, and all the time, you know, every day is a challenge, isn't it? And there's new things to deal with, and
Hmm.
you know, and I think it's just important to know it's, you know, it's not like it's a done deal. You know, you're fixed today, and so life will be great from then on. You know, no, there are always challenges, but it's about who you're going to be about those challenges. You know,
Yeah.
that's
Absolutely.
that's what's great, is you get the choice. And I think some people feel they don't have a choice, then they're out
Mm.
of control. But actually, you know, it's getting them to a point where they can see that actually no, they're responsible for their thoughts and feelings, and you know, we all do have a say.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Yeah,
and if you feel like you don't kind of if you're not able to do it on your own, sometimes it is kind of appropriate to hire a professional such as yourself, or check out your
absolutely.
MP3 and things like that, and
Yeah,
sort of see if this is the thing that can help you sort of break through those barriers that are
yeah,
kind of in the way from stopping you achieving what you want to achieve, isn't it?
yes. I mean, I think some that people actually are more afraid of being successful than they are of failing.
Mm.
That's part, you know, that's part of the challenge, really.
Yeah, yeah, it's quite
So
funny how
most
the
people
human
feel on
mind
some
works,
level
right?
they're a bit of a failure anyway at something. So
Mm.
yeah,
Absolutely. Oh, we're all failures really, but we're also successful. We're also successful at some things, but I suppose it's kind of accepting that failure as well, isn't it? A little
well,
bit,
you can
and then
look
it's
at it.
moving on from it.
Yeah, or you can choose not to look at it as failure. You can choose to
Yeah,
look at it as
exactly.
not getting the result you wanted. Because, you know,
Yeah.
when you're a kid, you know, you're just, you know, when you're trying to learn to ride a bike, you're just going to do it. You're going to fall off until eventually you can learn to ride the bike. And then you go, oh my God, I've learned to ride the bike. Um, I'll never have to relearn. You know, once we learn to walk, thank God for our subconscious, we don't have to relearn
Hmm.
every day, you know. So once we've got something, we can do it, you know. But always, everything takes practice. That's the thing, isn't it?
Yeah,
And it's
absolutely.
allowing ourselves to make mistakes, to do things more than once, and not be an expert immediately. You know, if you know, looking at the journey being fun rather than, you know, being all about the outcome.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Sort of looking at the journey, as you say, is kind of really, really important because that's a big part of life. Otherwise, we it wouldn't matter about the middle parts of life.
Yeah.
It just matter like your birth date till your death date. The important bit is the dash in between, guys. Pretty much,
Yeah.
really,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Enjoy the view. That's the thing, isn't it?
Yeah,
You might be
yeah,
trying to get to the
absolutely.
top of the mountain, but enjoy the view along the way.
Yeah, absolutely, certainly, certainly. So people can kind of grab your MP3 on your website, which is 9.99. So it's super, super cheap, and you can grab it, give it a go, and see if it's for you at smashthefat.com/hypno. And before we kind of go into your website and blog and things, we do have a viewer and listener question for you
Okay.
via our comments
Yeah.
from Cynical ENG. I think that stands for engineer.
Right.
And they're asking, is the technique appropriate for reducing compulsive eating, i.e. stop something, rather than starting something, as in the exercise video that you have
Absolutely.
on the website there?
The answer is yes. Either with hypnosis or with EFT. Absolutely. Yeah.
Absolutely. So you can kind
And
of use
thank
them.
you,
You
cynical
can use them
engineer,
both.
for that.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, and it's kind of being able to use both, and you as a professional knowing sort of which is kind of best to use.
I think, you know, they work great in combination, and I think
Yeah, in
ultimately it's
unison.
down to choice. And I think that it's worth people just uh, experiencing it and seeing for themselves whether they like it. And I think the other thing that's important is that if someone is considering a hypnotherapist or an EFT practitioner or a life coach, whatever, I think that it's really important that they, you know, they speak to the practitioner and they get a sense of whether or not they'd like to work with that person, because, you know, it's really important that you find someone that you actually really feel safe with. And yeah, It's
yeah,
it's
that's
partnership.
massively important.
Yeah.
Yeah. Being able to trust that person that you're kind of handing your health to somewhat is super important. It kind of goes the same for any kind of health and fitness professional. You
Yes.
know, if you're going to go hire someone, you've got to be able to trust them.
Yeah.
Basically, that's definitely the bottom line.
And I think often you can tell just, you know, in a few minutes of conversation, you know, ask the questions you need to ask. Yeah, definitely.
No doubt. And as I said, people can check out your MP3 on your website at smashthefat.com/hypno. And then where else can people kind of get in contact with you, read your stuff, watch your videos and all that jazz?
Yeah, if they go to www.habitfixer.com, then there's more about me. I blog. I haven't blogged very much recently, but there are plenty of blogs on my site, and there's some film as well, some more EFT, some tapping, some interviews and things. So yeah, I really encourage anyone to just have a look and see if they can find. Hopefully, they can find something interesting.
Yeah.
And useful, some tips.
Yeah, something that's useful and it'll be helpful to them to kind of move forward and hopefully find health, because that's kind of what we're all about. We're about helping people find the answers for them. You know, not everybody's answer to health is the same.
No, absolutely.
Everybody's answer is completely different. So that's why we kind of encourage people to look at all sorts of possibilities for themselves.
Yeah, and I think one thing that's really important, Sam, is that if people decide not to do something, that they feel okay about their choice.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like lots of people spend time feeling guilty about not exercising or eating too much or whatever they think that they shouldn't be doing. But actually, it's important that if they choose to do something, that they feel okay about that choice. And it is always a choice to exercise, not to exercise, to eat that extra slice or not.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Perfect. Cool. So yeah, I was going to ask what were your last wise words, but I think that was about it. Julie, that was brilliant. But there's only one more thing to do, and that's to hear a smash it out from Julie Mann. So on 3, I want you to shout "smash it out" to the camera.
Okay.
So 1, 2, 3.
Smash it out!
Way! That's what I'm talking about for sure. Excellent. So I encourage everybody to go check out Julie Mann's stuff, habitfixer.com, as well as checking out her MP3 at smashthefat.com/hypno. Thanks again for your time today, Julie, and hope to speak to you soon.
Thank you, Sam.
Bye.
Bye.